Why do we accept less than we deserve in love? The answer lies not in the stars, but in ourselves. This video delves into the intricate psychology behind tolerating indifference in relationships. We'll explore the hidden mechanisms of our minds that lead us to accept behavior that, deep down, we know is unacceptable. By understanding these patterns, you'll gain the power to break free from toxic cycles and cultivate the love you truly deserve. Watching this video could be the first step towards transforming your relationships and, more importantly, your relationship with yourself. You'll learn to recognize your own worth, set healthy boundaries, and attract the respect and affection you've always longed for. Are you ready to embark on this journey of self-discovery and empowerment? Imagine standing at the precipice of change, peering into the abyss of your own psyche. That's where we begin our exploration of why we sometimes find ourselves trapped in the quicksand of indifference. It's a journey that requires courage, for we must confront truths about ourselves that we've long buried beneath layers of justification and fear. Consider, for a moment, the last time you felt undervalued in a relationship. That gnawing sensation in the pit of your stomach, the silent screams of your intuition drowned out by the soothing lies we tell ourselves. It's not that bad, we whisper in the dark of night, even as our hearts ache for more. But why? Why do we silence our own needs, our own desires, in favor of accepting scraps of affection? The answer, my friend, lies in the complex tapestry of our emotional landscape. We are, each of us, the product of our experiences, our fears, and our deepest longings. And it is within this intricate web that we find the roots of our acceptance of indifference. It's a pattern often born in the crucible of our earliest relationships, shaped by the subtle messages we received about our worth and our place in the world. But here's the truth that we must confront. In every moment that we accept less than we deserve, we are making a choice. It's a choice often made unconsciously, driven by forces we may not fully understand. Yet it is a choice nonetheless. And in recognizing this, we take the first step towards reclaiming our power. Think back to a time when you advised a friend caught in the throes of a toxic relationship. The clarity with which you saw their situation, the fervor with which you urged them to demand better. Why is it, then, that we struggle to apply this same wisdom to our own lives? This disparity between what we know to be right and what we actually do is the very essence of cognitive dissonance, a psychological tug-of-war that can keep us trapped in patterns of behavior that no longer serve us. In the theater of our minds, we become master illusionists, conjuring elaborate justifications for why we remain in situations that diminish us. He's just going through a rough patch, we tell ourselves, or she'll change once she realizes how much I love her. These mental gymnastics serve a purpose. They allow us to maintain our self-image as strong, rational beings while simultaneously enabling us to stay in the comfort of the familiar, even when that familiarity is laced with pain. But let's pause for a moment and consider the cost of this self-deception. Every time we accept indifference, every instance we allow ourselves to be treated as an afterthought, we chip away at our own self-worth. It's a slow erosion, often imperceptible in the moment, but devastating in its cumulative effect. We become complicit in our own diminishment, silent partners in the gradual fading of our own light. Yet within this realization lies a seed of hope, a spark of potential transformation. For if we have the power to accept less, do we not also possess the power to demand more? This is where the principles of Stoicism offer us a beacon in the darkness. The ancient Stoics taught us that while we cannot control the actions of others, we have absolute dominion over our own responses. In this truth lies our path to liberation. Imagine, for a moment, standing firm in your own worth, unshakable in the face of indifference. Picture yourself setting boundaries not with anger or resentment, but with the quiet confidence of one who knows their own value. This is not a fantasy. It is your birthright, a potential that lies dormant within you, waiting to be awakened. But awakening this potential requires more than just knowledge. It demands action. It calls for the courage to confront our fears, to challenge the beliefs that have kept us tethered to patterns of acceptance. What are you afraid of losing if you demand more from your relationships? What comfort do you find in the familiar pain of indifference? These are not easy questions to answer, but in grappling with them, we begin to unravel the knots that have bound us. Consider the possibility that the indifference you've accepted from others is merely a reflection of the indifference you've shown to yourself. How often have you silenced your own needs, dismissed your own desires as unimportant or selfish? The journey to better relationships begins not with changing others, but with changing our relationship with ourselves. It starts with treating ourselves with the kindness, respect, and consideration we so desperately seek from others. This is where the real work begins, in the quiet moments of self-reflection, in the courageous acts of self-love. It's about learning to trust your instincts, those whispers of intuition that you've ignored for too long. It's about recognizing that your feelings are valid, your needs are important, and your happiness matters. This isn't selfishness, it's self-preservation, and it's essential for cultivating healthy, fulfilling relationships. But be warned, this path is not for the faint of heart. As you begin to value yourself more, as you start to set boundaries and demand respect, you may find that some relationships in your life begin to shift or even fall away. This is not a sign of failure, it's a sign of growth. Like a plant reaching for the sun, you're simply outgrowing the shadows that have kept you small. In this journey of self-discovery and empowerment, you'll encounter resistance, not just from others, but from within yourself. The voice of doubt will whisper in your ear, telling you that you're asking for too much, that you should be grateful for what little affection you receive. This voice is not your friend. It's the echo of past hurts, of internalized beliefs that no longer serve you. Recognize it for what it is, and choose to listen instead to the voice of your authentic self, the part of you that knows you deserve more. Let's talk about fear, that primal emotion that so often keeps us trapped in situations that no longer serve us. Fear of being alone, fear of starting over, fear of the unknown. These fears are valid, they're human. But here's a truth that the Stoics understood deeply. Courage is not the absence of fear, but action in the face of it. Every time you choose self-respect over comfortable indifference, you're flexing your courage muscle. And like any muscle, it grows stronger with use. Imagine for a moment the person you could become if you no longer accepted indifference as your lot in life. Picture the relationships you could cultivate if you approached them from a place of self-worth rather than need. This version of you exists, not in some distant future, but right here, right now, waiting to be embraced. But transformation doesn't happen overnight. It's a process, a journey of small steps and daily choices. Start by paying attention to the moments when you feel undervalued. Instead of pushing the feeling away, sit with it, explore it. Ask yourself, what would I say to a friend in this situation? Then, extend that same compassion to yourself. This simple act of self-empathy can be revolutionary. As you move forward on this path, you'll likely encounter setbacks. There will be days when old patterns reassert themselves, when the pull of familiar discomfort feels stronger than the call of self-respect. This is normal. It's part of the process. The key is not to let these moments define you or derail your progress. Instead, view them as opportunities for growth, chances to reinforce your commitment to your own worth. Remember, every interaction, every relationship, is an opportunity to practice standing in your power. It might feel uncomfortable at first, like trying on clothes that don't quite fit. But with time and persistence, this new way of being will become second nature. You'll find yourself naturally gravitating towards people and situations that reflect your true worth, and effortlessly setting boundaries with those who don't. As you continue on this journey, you might find that your entire worldview begins to shift. The indifference that once felt like a personal slight now reveals itself as a reflection of the other person's limitations, not your worth. This perspective doesn't excuse their behavior, but it frees you from the burden of trying to earn love that isn't freely given. Consider the possibility that by accepting indifference, you've not only been doing a disservice to yourself, but also to the people in your life. When we settle for less, we rob others of the opportunity to rise to our level, to grow and evolve alongside us. By raising your standards, you create space for truly fulfilling connections, not just for yourself, but for everyone you encounter. This journey isn't just about improving your romantic relationships. It's about elevating all your interactions, with family, friends, colleagues, and even strangers. As you learn to value yourself more, you'll find that you naturally begin to treat others with greater respect and consideration. This ripple effect can transform not just your personal life, but your entire community. As we delve deeper into this exploration of self-worth and relationships, let's confront a painful truth. Sometimes, the indifference we face from others is a mirror reflecting our own indifference towards ourselves. It's a challenging concept to grapple with, but one that holds the key to profound transformation. Ask yourself, when was the last time you truly celebrated your own achievements? When did you last look in the mirror and speak words of kindness to your reflection? This self-reflection isn't about assigning blame or wallowing in guilt. It's about recognizing our own power in shaping the dynamics of our relationships. The Stoics understood that true freedom lies not in controlling external circumstances, but in mastering our internal responses. In this light, every instance of indifference becomes an opportunity, a chance to reaffirm our commitment to self-respect and personal growth. Consider the possibility that the universe is constantly sending you messages through your relationships. What if the indifference you've encountered is not a punishment, but a wake-up call? A cosmic nudge urging you to realign with your true worth? This perspective shift can transform feelings of victimhood into a sense of empowerment. You're not helpless in the face of others' behavior. You're being called to rise, to evolve, to demand more from life and from yourself. But here's where many stumble. Knowing you deserve better is one thing. Actually believing it at your core is another. This is where the real work begins. It's not enough to intellectually understand your worth. You must feel it in your bones, embody it in every cell of your being. This is a daily practice, a moment-by-moment choice to align with your highest self. Imagine for a moment that you are a precious gemstone. Would you allow yourself to be tossed carelessly into a junk drawer, hidden away and forgotten? Of course not. You'd expect to be handled with care, polished regularly, displayed proudly. Why, then, do we accept any less care for our hearts, our spirits, our very essence? It's time to recognize your own preciousness, to demand the care and attention you'd give to the rarest of treasures. As you embark on this journey of self-discovery and empowerment, be prepared for resistance, not just from others, but from within yourself. Old habits die hard, and the comfort of familiar patterns can be seductive. You might find yourself slipping back into old ways of thinking, accepting less than you deserve out of fear or habit. This is normal. Progress isn't linear. It's a dance of steps forward and back. The key is to keep moving, to recommit to your worth every single day. Think about the relationships in your life right now. Are they nurturing your growth or stifling it? Do they reflect your true worth or diminish it? These are tough questions, but necessary ones. Remember, it's not selfish to seek relationships that honor your value. It's an act of self-respect. And paradoxically, when you raise your standards for how you allow others to treat you, you often inspire them to rise to meet those standards. But what if they don't? What if, when confronted with your newfound self-respect, some people in your life pull away or double down on their indifference? This is where courage comes into play. The courage to stand firm in your worth, even if it means standing alone for a while. The courage to believe that by valuing yourself, you open the door to attracting relationships that truly align with your spirit. In this journey, self-compassion is your greatest ally. There will be moments of doubt, times when the old narratives of unworthiness creep back in. In these moments, treat yourself with the kindness you'd offer a dear friend. Speak to yourself with words of encouragement and understanding. Remember, you're unlearning patterns that may have been years or even decades in the making. Be patient with yourself, but also be persistent. As we approach the culmination of this profound journey, let's pause to acknowledge the courage it takes to confront these truths about ourselves and our relationships. You've taken the first step on a path that many fear to tread, and for that alone, you should feel a sense of pride. This willingness to look unflinchingly at your patterns, to question the status quo of your emotional life, is the hallmark of true strength. Consider for a moment the ripple effect of your transformation. As you learn to value yourself more, as you begin to radiate self-respect and self-love, you become a beacon for others. Your journey isn't just about you. It's about elevating the collective consciousness of how we treat ourselves and each other. In a world that often seems to thrive on indifference, your commitment to self-worth becomes a radical act of love. But let's be clear, This journey isn't about becoming perfect or achieving some idealized state of being. It's about embracing your humanity, flaws and all, and recognizing that you are worthy of love and respect exactly as you are. The goal isn't to become someone else. It's to become more fully yourself, to align your life with your innate value. As you move forward, armed with new insights and a renewed commitment to your worth, remember that setbacks are not failures. They're opportunities for growth, chances to reinforce your newfound strength. Each time you choose self-respect over familiar discomfort, you're rewriting the script of your life. You're telling the universe, and more importantly, yourself, that you are deserving of love, attention, and care. Imagine the relationships you could cultivate from this place of self-worth. Picture connections built on mutual respect, where your needs are met with enthusiasm rather than indifference. This isn't a fantasy. It's a very real possibility when you approach life from a foundation of self-love. You become a magnet for the kind of love you've always desired but perhaps never believed you could have. In closing, I want you to remember this. The journey you're embarking on isn't easy, but it is infinitely worthwhile. Every step you take towards valuing yourself more highly is a step towards a richer, more fulfilling life. You have within you the power to transform not just your relationships, but your entire experience of the world. So, as you face the world anew, armed with these insights and a deepened sense of your own worth, I challenge you to make a commitment to yourself. Promise that from this day forward, you will no longer settle for indifference. Vow to treat yourself with the kindness and respect you desire from others. Pledge to honor your needs, your dreams, and your boundaries. Remember, you are not just worthy of love and respect. You are deserving of it. You are not asking for too much when you demand to be valued. You are simply claiming what has always been rightfully yours. The path ahead may be challenging, but know this. On the other side of that challenge lies a version of yourself and your life that is more beautiful and fulfilling than you can currently imagine. As you step into this new chapter, carry with you the wisdom of the Stoics, the courage of your convictions, and the unwavering belief in your own worth. The world is waiting for you to shine in your full brilliance. It's time to let that light out, to demand more, to accept nothing less than the love and respect you truly deserve. Your journey starts now. Are you ready to embrace your worth and transform your life?